Let's bring Brad Clark up here to finish out the Artie Clear Show. Brad, welcome to the Artie Clear Show. How you doing, pal?
Good. How you doing, Artie?
I'm sorry we're so late in calling you. We're just running a little bit overboard here.
Oh, you're fine. I understand.
Okay, then we have Brad Clark here. And Brad, I have some information on Brad. Is NFLfuture.com, and he also has a draft site for the NFL. Brad, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the NFL.com, thefuture.com?
Yeah, it's NFLsfuture.com with an S. And we are a full-service NFL draft website. I have a team of about 8 writers right now. We put what we think is pretty good content out on the web, just general scouting reports on guys coming up. Right now we're looking forward. I know it's way forward, but for some of us, I know some of the Eagles fans, you guys, it's the present right now, and that's the 2013 NFL Draft.
Right now, are you saying that my Philadelphia Eagles are out of it?
I'm saying you're pretty well out of it. At 3-6, it's going to be a struggle. But the bright side of it is that Nick Foles, you'll see what you get out of Nick Foles here, I think.
What do you think of Nick Foles, Brad?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't have a high grade on him coming out of Arizona last year, and you saw some of that on this week's game, just with heavy feet and his inability to escape the rush. But to be honest, he really has. He's impressed me throughout the preseason, and so far in his one game, outside of some of the natural criticisms I had of him with heavy feet, not the best decision making at times. He's played pretty well, and at this point, you guys, Philadelphia needs to see what they have in him. Michael Vick's carrying, I think, around a $16 million cap number next year. You got to see what you have in Nick Foles to see whether you need to go into the 2013 draft, needing to draft a young quarterback, or whether you can pick up a veteran and set him aside, Nick Foles, to learn from.
I don't think Michael Vick will be back with the Philadelphia Eagles. The salary cap.
Yeah,
I doubt it very highly. I know the coach is going to be going also, and Andy Reid, so they'll bring in a new coaching staff, a new quarterback. Nick Foles will get the nod, and they'll probably get, like you said, either a veteran quarterback as a starter, and he can be backing him up, or let Nick Foles start and get another quarterback in the draft and just go young and try to rebuild this team. It's their offensive line that's really killing them right now, and if their offensive line was what they had last year, I think the record would be a heck of a lot better than it is right now. They're only averaging right around 17 points a game. They got the ultimate weapon, supposedly, in Michael Vick, who's an all-world quarterback who has turned the ball over at an unbelievable rate. A lot of interceptions, a lot of fumbles, and him getting hurt with that concussion because he's going head first. I don't know why he was doing that. I guess he was trying to win so bad and prove to Philadelphia that he has a ton of heart, and he just started taking things upon himself. But that offensive line is putrid. It's horrible. All the starters are out. The guys are in there are just terrible. You can't take a 3-step drop and get rid of the ball without someone being in your face. That's a bad offensive line. Don't matter if Vic or Nick Foles is in there. They're not going to succeed unless they get themselves an offensive line.
Yeah, that's and the bright side is the 2013 draft class is looking strong, particularly at the guard position, which I know you need some help at. The guard position is loaded up top, and then if a lot of the underclassmen declare, the tackle class will be pretty good as well.
So are you saying that this year in the NFL draft that is going to be a really solid draft? There's a lot of great players coming out that are going to make the difference in the NFL next year?
Not as an overall draft. No? This is probably looking like a 2008 draft class. Not real strong at the top. There's some positional strengths. I think linebacker, and as I said, the interior offensive line are two really strong positions in the draft. Outside of that, overall, not a strong draft class. Obviously, there's going to be struggles. We're going to have a lot of debate leading up to the draft with who's going to be the number one pick. There's at this point, no clear-cut guy. A lot of people were banking on Geno Smith, and things are kind of falling apart there. So everybody's kind of rushing around wondering who the number one pick's going to be. There's definitely not an Andrew Luck or even an RG3 in this draft.
And what do you think about Barkley from USC?
I'm up and down on Barkley. A lot to like, a lot to not like. Strong leader. All the intangibles are there, but there's some major question marks. Now, first off is his size. He's probably going to check in right around 6'2". He's thrown a lot of interceptions this year. There's been some accuracy issues. Outside of that, it's always worrisome when you probably have two of the best wide receivers in the country on your team. His offensive line's pretty poor, but he's probably got some of the better weapons in the country, and they haven't really produced this year at the level that everybody expected. Heading into this year, Barkley was everybody's number one. At midway point, he's looking like anywhere from end of first round, maybe even into the second round.
Got Brad Clark here, NFLfuture.com, draft expert. Real quick before I let you go, Brad, Johnny Manziel, Texas A&M, showed the nation that he's one heck of a quarterback as a freshman. Goes out there and beats Alabama, probably the biggest win of his career, his young career, maybe one of the biggest wins for Texas A&M of all time. What's your line on Johnny Manziel? Is he NFL material, and how many years will it take from him to be in college to come to the NFL, if he can come to the NFL?
I've done a lot of evaluation on him. I did watch the game this weekend. I watched a couple other games, but from a scouting standpoint, I haven't evaluated him. He's a leader, though, and you can see that on the field. Those guys, they're all surrounded around him. He's in their face. You can just tell he's got what it takes. The knock on him is going to be his size. He's barely 6 foot. I'm not sure what he weighs in at, but he's not a big guy. He's not a Ben Roethlisberger. So that's going to be the obvious knock on him. And his arm strength isn't the greatest. It's not Matt Stafford. It's probably slightly above average at this point. But there's a ton of room for growth.
He's a freshman. Yeah.
He's a freshman, and certainly what he's doing is impressive. I'm a fan. I know that.
Brad, I want to thank you so much for being on our show. If they want to get in touch with you, Brad, how would they do that?
You can do it at NFLsfuture.com, or you can do it on Twitter at NFLfuture.
Brad, thanks so much for being on our show. I'm sorry we couldn't give you enough time. We'll have you on again maybe one day next week and give you some more time to talk about the NFL and your draft. But no, definitely in the future we want to have you on, especially when the NFL season comes to a close. We definitely have to have you on and talk about the draft. Thank you so much for being on our show.
All right, Art.
Okay, thank you.